All right, welcome back, or welcome to Devo Does Stuff. Today, I'm going to be sharpening this knife. This is a CRKT Overland that I bought at a pawn shop. You can see it's still got adhesive on there from where they had the price tag, so I'll have to clean that off. And this has got a chip out of it right there. I bought this knife just for this video. It's not my knife. Well, it is my knife now, but I don't treat my knives like that, and I wouldn't have a knife with a chip in it like that. So I'm going to take this over and clean that off. But first I'm going to unbox my sharpener, Work Sharp sharpener. Trying to remember what this is called. Precision Adjust Knife Sharpener. So this came with this. This is the leather strop. And then it has the four most coarse diamonds, which this is 220. That's the coarsest one that I have. 320, 400. Then this one has a 600, and I put a 6 on there so I can tell, because it gets a little, starting to disappear a little bit. 600. Then it has an 800, and then it has this ceramic. And I don't know what the ceramic is rated at as far as grit, but really this is good enough for just about anything you want. Then you finish off with this strop. And then it's got a little ceramic rod in the top of the handle on that one. So if you have a serrated edge, if you just happen to have one that fits that, then you could use that. This, I got to looking online. I found there's a guy on eBay, a guy or a girl, I don't know, that makes these extreme edge, and that's that's this piece right here. So what you can do is take it off this one. Yeah, I'll take it off this one. Take that off, slide that out. Then you can take that off and you can put this one in. Well, I also bought different grit sheets, and they're adhesive on the back. So you can see I bought 2 of these. That's 3 different sides to each one. Well, I only had 5 different grits, so this one's got a blank. But my coarsest grit in this, they call this lapping film, is 1200. So here is my finest grit diamond stone, it's 800. So normally when I'm sharpening, I just go to 800 and then hit it with that, and then hit it with the strop. But I thought I would just try this and see just how far you can go with it. So I got these 1200, 1800, and then 8,000, 14,000, which this one needs replaced. There we go. And I just cut these little strips. And you can buy these strips like this, but I just bought the, 8x11 sheet of it and cut it out myself. It's a little cheaper doing it that way. So, this will go on later because I want to do I go through my stock diamond wheels first, and then I move on to these braces. So this comes in this box just like this. This is the base. Couple pieces of foam packing. This is the adjuster, and it goes on there like that. And this is your blade holder, and it's got this little piece of cardboard in here to keep those jaws have a little rubber in them. And that cardboard just keeps them from sticking to each other. Now, one thing, you see this has got a white dot on it. So this has got a magnet. It just clips in there. Then on the back here, you push in on that, and that releases up here. So when after you sharpen one side, you push in, and you flip it over to the other side. And you can see where I've sharpened this thing. If you try to use this on too small of a blade, it hits your holder. And you're supposed to, according to the directions, when you put this in, you're supposed to slide it all the way back to the back of that V in the holder. Which this one's no problem. But I've got a little small Gerber knife that I carry in my pocket every day. And its blade is only about yay long. And when I put it in here, if I slide it all the way back, the blade's not even sticking all the way out. So I can't do that on that one. So what you want to do is once you get this in, you want to make sure, see, that's going to hit. So I want it to go in this way so that when I turn it, I don't have to pick this up off of the table to do it. And I used this yesterday to sharpen these kitchen knives, and I'll show that video, I'll show that footage later after this one. I want to do this one first. But these all turned out really well. And I don't know if that's, you can see that shiny edge. And I could make that better, but then it started getting old. But I'm not sharpening for a competition. I'm just sharpening. Move this back out of the way. Got the adhesive off, but man, it didn't want to come off. These are nice knives, the CRKT, I think that's Columbia River Knife and Tool. Pretty sure. And that's a little fancier than what I normally buy. I'm not too particular. I like a good knife, but I don't like paying more money for a name. Now, we had a guy that we worked with that he called that Cricket. Yeah, he said he was leaving and we were going to get him a little going away present. He'd like to have a Cricket knife. Well, we got him one, but we didn't talk to him anymore after that. Cricket. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with 220. And if you don't know, these grits, the smaller the number, the more coarse the grit. So 220 is my coarsest grit. And then I got a 320 and a 400, and then a 600 and an 800. So really with this, I'd like to have something even more coarse just to get that chip out of there. I don't know if that's showing. That chip right there, but I don't have anything short of taking a file to it. Now, the angle on this is determined by this right here. And what I do is I'll take this one with the ceramic on it. This is metal, and this is a magnet. So this snaps up in right there, and that holds it. So that keeps you on the same angle for every stone. And the way I determine the angle, and like most like pocket knives are anywhere from 20 to 25 degree angle on the bevel. And the way I determine, and this is probably not the best way, but I put it on there with the ceramic, and I try to just look at it and see where it lays, and then I'll adjust this up here, and I've already done that. So say I wanted to go, if I wanted a 25 degree angle on this, then I'd screw it up there where it's at 25 degrees. And then I set it on here. And I'll be honest with you, that's not real far off. I'm starting to think I didn't have it adjusted right. Let me go down to 20. I think that's what I'm going to stick with right there is 20. See, I had it down here, kind of between 20. I had it about 17. It's kind of where I had it. There's no mark for 17. There's just 20 and 15. And I had it at about 17. But looking at it now, that 17 would be too low of an angle. So what I would be doing would be grinding away this shoulder right here instead of the actual bevel, which is what I want to do. The further you go, the more you're taking off of the actual blade itself and not just the edge. So I'm going to stick with 20. And I'm going to start on this 220. Now probably when I'm editing this, I'll probably be fast forwarding through a lot of this. Now these diamond stones, you don't have a direction. You can do them like this. You can do them back and forth. And you really want to. You don't want to just go in one direction because you're not using all of your diamond for that. So what happened right there was I went too far and I slipped over the edge. And so to avoid doing that, I'll move my rubber stopper up 1/4 inch or so, maybe just a touch more. And that stops that, and it won't let the end of it go over the edge of the knife. So this is 220 and I'm on 20 degrees. I'm getting way up. I'll keep the paper towel and wipe some of that grit dust off of there. The more you use these diamond stones, the smoother they'll get, but they're still working. So I've still got a ways to go if I'm getting that chip out of there. I'll almost get it. I've been going about, I don't know, 5 minutes on this. And that's on the 220 grit. Now look at that edge. And you can see the stuff hanging off of it. Now that was my chip right back there, I think. Right there. That's the chip. Boy, I'll tell you what, that little toy microscope really works good. Right there's the chip. Right there. So, I've got to get all of this. Now this is not too bad on this side of it. But I've got to get all of that scraped back down to this level right here. Then I got to blend it in from there all the way back down. So you can see this is probably going to take a while. So I just thought I'd grab that. I got this little along, and I am to the point where I can no longer see that chip with my naked eye. So let's look at it through the microscope. Hard to, it moves so much, it's just every time you try to move it, but that's possibly where it was right there. But it's hard to tell with all that, those filings hanging off of it, so let me wipe that off. And look at it again. Well, that didn't help much at all, did it? Oh, I could see parts of the paper towel hanging on there now. But I do not go with as rough as that is under this microscope. But I think it's gone. And I think this will be interesting to look at it and see if it's visibly different between each grit. So I think I'm done with the 220. And I'll hit it with the 320, and maybe that'll knock off some of that rough stuff, and that chip will show back up again. I'm kind of digging that. You know, still rough, but you know what? That's my second coarsest stone right there. And that really cleaned up, that 320 really cleaned up that 220. So let's move on to what's next. That one was 320, 400. Now what I do is, when I'm done for the evening, I put these in the sink and wash them off. Instead, set them out and let them dry. You can see all this dust that collects on them. We're going to go with 400. Let's see what that does. All right, there was the 400 grit. So turn my thingamajig on here. This is the opposite side I have been showing you. I'm doing them both, you know, equally. So there's the 400 grit. And not a lot of difference between the 320. There's something. No. I thought it may look like a little divot there, but there's only 80 grit difference between this one and the last one, but you can see that it's cleaned it up. Of course, I wiped this off with the paper towel, but is that, no, I'm not even to it yet. I was gonna say, is that where the chip was? And I still cannot see with the naked eye. That was that it right there? That's a little rugged looking, but I just can't tell if that's where the chip was or not. It's quite possible. Or maybe that was it. But regardless, it's gone. Maybe that was it. I don't know. No, we're out. Maybe that was it. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's it right there. That could possibly be it, but let me put my finger under that. Where'd it go? Right there, maybe? Put my fingernail. Right there's my fingernail, so let me look at it without this now. I can't see anything. I can't see it with the naked eye. So I'm going to move on. I think even if that is it, it's good enough. So that was 400. So now my next is 600. And so I'm switching over to my other set of stones. And that's what I like about this set, this magnet. You're locked in place. You can take that off and put a different set of stones on, and it doesn't change your angle at all. So let's do 600. I can feel a real difference in the coarseness of the stone sliding across the knife. This is starting to feel smooth now, and it doesn't feel like it's grinding the edge. That's another thing. You got to be careful if you get to moving too fast and your fingers slip off of this and then you go back. If you hit that with momentum, you're going to lay your finger open, because I'm telling you right now, this is sharp. Yeah. So I've only got one more of my diamond stones, and it's 800. And so looking at this with the naked eye, you can see that's good enough. That's kind of it's shiny looking, got a little bit of a matte look to it, but it looks a lot worse through that magnifier. But let's go over to 800. Now on these higher grits, finer grits, higher numbered grits, I don't push as much, because it's really just kind of gliding across. And if you push too hard, you will flex this. And actually, I saw a thing on eBay. They make this a guy that makes a 3D printed thing that goes in right here and props this up you just put it in there and it keeps that from going down. It's like a little plastic brace that goes in there. But to me, that's for somebody that's probably, I don't know if you realize or not, but they have knife sharpening competitions. And that would be somebody that cares enough to to enter these competitions, knife sharpening competitions. And just, I'm not that guy. But I am taking this one a little further than what I normally would, because I just wanted to see if I could, that's the only reason I bought this knife. I don't have anything against CRKT, but I don't buy those expensive knives. I'll buy a buck knife if I really need one, or I used to collect case, but I'm not going to buy a CRKT just for everyday carry. The only reason I bought this was because it had that little chip in it, and I wanted to see if I could get it out and make a video of it. Out in San Francisco, they call these crickets. Up in Greenwich Village, up in New York City, they call these crickets. They might even call them in Parkersburg, West Virginia, they might call them crickets. But around here, we call them CRKT. So this, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's just about done. That doesn't really feel like it's doing much. When you go over this, you can look at it from an angle. It's pretty shiny, and it kind of looks like maybe like a car after you've buffed it, or rubbed it out, put wax on it and rubbed it out, and you can kind of see swirl marks in it or what have you. That's kind of what this is looking like now on the naked eye. That's 800. That's my least coarse diamond. We're going to swap over now from 800 to 1200. And then 1800, and then 8,000, 14,000, 60,000. I don't think these are going to show enough difference to show on camera with the magnifier, but I'll at least look at them after I finish, like this 1200. I'll check it out, and if it's worth recording, then I'll come back. And so now I'm going to swap over. I'm going to switch from 1200 to 1800. And something I wanted to point out on that, with this lapping film, and it's the same way with this leather strop. Those are one direction only. So with these, you're just coming off of the blade, because if you tried to go against the blade, it would just cut it. So I'm lifting it on each upstroke. And these are so fine that it's hard to tell that you're doing anything. And you're not doing any sharpening. You're just polishing that rough bevel, which is really, right now, it's only rough when you look at it through that magnifier, through this, with your naked eye. That's kind of polished up. So I'm going to do One more passes on 18. Then I'll have to take this out and swap over to this one, which is, this is 1800, this is 8000. So that's quite a difference between that one and this one. 8000 and 14,000 and 60,000. And just get it. Because I'm guessing they look at it through a magnifier or something. They have some way of judging. I know I have seen other YouTube channels. They have a little test tool with a little string, almost more like a hair, and it measures the force it takes that blade to break that hair, and it gives you a printout on it, and that's how they determine how sharp something is. So I'm gonna move on with this 1800, and then I'm just gonna keep going until I get to the 60, and then I'll bring you back and show you what the final result looks like. All right, I was editing this video and I realized that most of the time I was showing this magnified edge, you couldn't see it. I need to turn off my ring light. Oh yeah, that helps. Now, let me just set it down there. And focus, come on now. You don't want to hold still for me. All right, there's focus. There's my finished edge. Under high magnification. You can still see the scratches from the diamond stones. But it keeps moving around on me. Anyway, you can see how straight the edge is now. And now, let me move it down. There's no sign of where that chip was. Started off at 230, 220 grit, and ended up at 60,000. And this is done. And so, oh, look at that. That's nice. That's going to be about it for this video. I will put these kitchen knives in between my last clip and this clip to finish this up. So this is going to end this one. This has been the Work Sharp Precision Adjust Knife Sharpener. I believe this model is called the Pro. And you can get it with, you can get a cheaper version that doesn't have as many stones. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching Devo Does Stuff. This turned out really nice until you look at it through that magnifier, but it turned out really nice, and you can't even tell where that chip was. So thanks for watching.